start. And now, in our previous class, we learned about the two kinds of plant tissue. One is the meristematic tissue, and the other one was the permanent tissue. Now, these permanent tissues, they don't have an ability to divide and form more cells, so they have lost the ability to divide. So they cannot divide and form, incapable of undergoing cell division. We know that. We have already discussed about all this permanent tissue. Now, in our previous classes, we learned about that this permanent tissue is again two types. One is simple permanent tissue, the other one is complex permanent tissue. And we have finished everything about the simple permanent tissue. These simple permanent tissues are again, three types. One, two, and we have three types. We have discussed about this simple permanent tissue. But today we will discuss about the complex permanent tissue. Now here, in this complex permanent tissue, we have two important tissues here. That is xylem, this is phloem, and then the xylem. Now look at here, this xylem and phloem, these two tissues are also called the conductive tissue. I just wanted to write here conductive, okay, conductive tissue or conductive tissue. Now if you move back in the previous class here, in the next slide, you can see I've written here, this is the conductive tissue I've mentioned here. Why? Because why these two tissues are called the conductive tissues? Because they conduct different materials within the plant. Now look at here, this is your plant. Now if you see the plant right from here, from the root, from these are the root, from this root, something need to be transported to the leaves here, to the leaves and to your all the different part of the plant, upper part of the plant. And we know that water and the different dissolved minerals need to be absorbed from the root hairs and the root, and then finally these water and the minerals are transported to the upper part of the leaf. Especially they are utilized, water is especially utilized in the leaf in the process of photosynthesis, because we know that water is used as one of the raw materials. So in order to conduct these materials, the xylem, now xylem does that function. Now this is the xylem, and xylem conducts the water. So now look at here, it conducts the water and dissolves substances upward, means especially towards what? Upwards in the plant. Okay, why? Because the water is utilized here in the leaf for the process of photosynthesis. So now look at here, if you just see look at here the other tissue. Now phloem, if you see the phloem transport organic materials such as carbohydrates and then amino acids. Amino acids, which is the simplest form of the protein, and then carbohydrate. These different materials, especially, they are produced where? In the plant. So by the process of photosynthesis, we know that the carbohydrate, glucose, is produced, and this glucose need to be transported to every cells of the plant, towards the especially to the tip of the root, towards the tip of the apical meristematic tissue. Every growing cell, they need a lot of food. So those food need to be transported from the leaf to each and every growing part of the plant. So here we see, so xylem and phloem, this xylem and phloem, since they are, they are responsible in the conductions of the food materials and then different substances within the plant's body. That's why they are called the conductive tissue. Just keep that in your mind. Why they are conductive tissue? For this, because they conduct different materials, water, dissolved substances, food materials. So these are all done by the conductive tissue. That's why it is called the conductive tissue here. And it is also called the vascular bundles. Keep that in your mind. The complex permanent tissues are also called the vascular bundle. Keep that in your mind. So vascular bundles, complex permanent tissue or conductive tissue are or is the same thing. Okay, so now let's go. I want you people to show where do we exactly, now this is we are discussing, where do we exactly find this xylem and phloem. Now look at here, if you see the plant, Now this peripheral part of the plant, now look at here, this is the transverse sections of the plant. Now this is the transverse sections of the plant. When you see that the peripheral part of the plant, especially this part of the plant, is actually made of what? The phloem. So phloem is actually, what is it? It is the bark. Just keep that in your mind. Bark of a plant is the phloem. Whereas the strongest part of the plant is, which is at the towards the center, this part is actually the xylem. So xylem is this one. So xylem is the woody part of the plant. Okay, so phloem lies towards the periphery, phloem towards the periphery, whereas xylem lies towards the center. So this is what the locations of xylem and phloem. Now let's move on to this two tissue here, since we are discussing the details about this xylem and phloem. Now look at here, xylem has got how many cells? The 4 cells. 1 cells, 2 cells, 3 and 4 cells. 4 cells. These cells are also called the element. Just keep element. It is also called element. Just keep that in your mind. And then even in the phloem also we have 4 elements. 1, 2, 3 and 4 elements. Okay. Now let's come to the xylem here. Let's discuss about the xylem. Now xylem has got 4 cells. These 4 cells, tracheids and then xylem vessel, they are also called the tracheids elements. Both of these are called tracheids elements. They are actually responsible for the conductions of the water and the dissolved mineral. Since the water and dissolved mineral is conducted by the xylem from the root to the upper part of the plant, so this function is actually done by these 2 cells here, the tracheate and then xylem vessel. Why? Because if you see the xylem vessel, here, okay, this is the xylem vessel. They form, okay, this is the xylem vessel now right here. So this is one xylem vessel, and the other xylem vessel is here. So they join end to end and forms like a pipe-like. It forms like a pipe-like systems, and then conducts the water right from the root to the upper part of the plant. Okay, so apart from that, along with these 2 cells, we have a xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Now xylem fiber is a kind of a fiber, is a kind of a sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma cells. Okay, sclerenchyma cells is it's one of the simple permanent tissue. Okay, so this simple permanent tissue, xylem parenchyma, actually gives some mechanical support to the xylem tissue. And we have one more here, the xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma stores the food for the elements, for the remaining elements. Okay, so now let's move on to the phloem. Phloem again has 4 different cells. Now here in the phloem, again this sieve elements and then companion cells. Now why companion? Because this cell always lies along with the sieve elements. Now I'll take you to this diagram here. Now this is the sieve, sieve element. Okay, sieve element or sieve tube. We call it sieve tubes. Now this also forms. Why it is called sieve tubes? Because you can see small pores here. You can see the small pores. Just because of the presence of these pores, okay, we call it sieve. Okay, just remember this sieve. Why it is called sieve? Because it has got the small openings or the pores, okay, at the end of the cell wall. Okay, so because of the presence of these small pores, we call it the sieve here. And now these sieve tubes is also a complete dead cell. This is also dead cells, but it does not have any cell content. But the nucleus here, this is the companion cell. Can you see the companion cells? So this is the companion cells. So this is the companion cells. The nucleus of the companion cells actually controls the functioning of the sieve elements or sieve tubes. So keep that in mind. Okay, so here is one important cell about the companion cells. Okay, now along with these 2 cells, we have got again phloem parenchyma also here. Phloem parenchyma and then xylem fiber. Now phloem parenchyma again, it stores the food for the elements of the phloem. Now here, look at here. So you can see, and then phloem fiber, again it gives a mechanical support to the phloem tissue. So look at here, xylem and xylem. This xylem fiber and phloem fiber, they have got the same functions. In the same way, they give mechanical support. They provide mechanical support to the xylem and phloem respectively. On the other side, xylem parenchyma and xylem phloem parenchyma, again they store the food for the xylem and then phloem respectively. So this is how we know about all the different elements or the cells of the xylem and phloem. Now we discuss about this. Now let's go and see here. So we have the definition. I've given the definition. I told you it is the xylem is a conductive tissue which transport waters and minerals. You can keep that in your mind towards the upper part of the plant. Whereas the phloem is a vascular tissue which conducts the food from the leaves to the different part of the plant. Okay, this is made of 4 different types of cells. One more cell is missing here. Bracket vessels. Okay, all 4 cells are here. All 4 cells. 1, 2, 3, and 4 cells. Whereas here CF tubes, companion, and then xylem. Okay, here the phloem parenchyma is here, but one more is missing here. Phloem fiber is missing. Please, fiber. Just keep that in a fiber. Okay, fiber is missing here. Okay, keep that in mind. Functions, I told you, minerals and waters. Okay, we know that. Whereas situation, the location is I told you, the xylem lies towards the center of the root and stems, whereas phloem lies towards the periphery. So that's all we need to know about the xylem and phloem. Okay, thank you children, thank you so much.